All right, welcome back to the show. Shoes on Talk. It's your boy Larvell, aka L Dub, aka always late but always on time, Mr. Star Jedi himself, Mace Windu. What's happening?
What's going on?
How do you say always late but on time? How does that? How does that?
Right.
Because
That's like a double negative.
It is.
You just didn't want to be late,
I just didn't want to be late.
so you would be late but on time.
Because when I get there, I'm on time when I got there.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I get that.
No, we don't get that. Don't
Don't clarify.
do that. Don't do that. Don't.
The reason why I brought that up, the reason why I said it, because I've been missing in action. I just had to say something. You know, life happens. You know,
It does. It does. We
life situations,
exactly.
work. You know, life. At the end of the day, I'm still a single parent. You know, there's a lot that comes with it. Then trying to build a business, it takes a lot. But you know what? I'm glad for the struggles because I'd rather have these kind of struggles than not have these struggles at all.
Yeah. And we just had that conversation too. Is right before God is about to do something amazing in your life, He's going to take you through your sets of trials and tribulations.
Oh.
But all you got to do is get through to that other side. And once you get through to that other side, you know things aren't going to be all roses. But believe me, your troubles and your trials and tribulations will not be in vain. So,
Especially as a black man in this
oh,
society.
look.
We don't talk about that.
We definitely gonna talk about that. Great to have you back, as always.
Yes, sir.
Floyd,
Hey.
Over here on the ones and twos, we have
Your boy Floyd! What's up?
aka what?
AKA your brother Floyd! Let it be known. Alright, what's going on, Tim?
Floyd. Got a little pep in his step today.
Yeah, man.
Usually he coming off of a 24-hour shift where he sound like he's downtrodden and he just baled a bunch of hay. But glad to have all you guys in the studio. Glad to have you guys that are watching from afar or close or wherever you're at. Glad you guys are tuning in today. I'm excited about today, as I do every day, because I truly say that I don't have bad days. And the reason why I say I don't have bad days is because I don't have bad days. Anytime you get an opportunity to have another day and get things right, which you got wrong the day before, is truly a blessing. And we don't like to look at other people's situation to make us feel good about ours, but just waking up in the morning and getting a chance to do it all over again is a blessing within itself, because there's so many people that didn't get that opportunity.
Yeah.
So we definitely want to thank God for the small things and understand that everything we go through is part of life. It's part of life. That segues into I kind of was on social media and told them about what we have going on as
Yes.
far as the 5-part series regarding black culture. Actually, it's going to be 6 parts. I think we came up with 6 parts.
6 parts.
One is financial literacy. The second is getting involved in the black community. Of course, we can't talk about black culture without talking about music. Then something that goes hand in hand with music, which is fashion. Then we're gonna dive into the black history, and we're going to talk about our black men
Yes.
and what they go through and what that looks like. Today's segment, we're just basically going to skim over the surface on each one of those topics to kind of give you an idea of what's to come within those segments. I'm super excited about it because I feel like it's needed. But yeah, let's dive into this. Let's go into it.
Let's do it.
Number one is the financial literacy. I think that is so important in the black community because that's one of the areas that we struggle with, because it's not like we have these systems in place that educate us on our finances.
Right. I mean, growing up, I mean, you really don't get that though. You really don't get that the whole concept of how to save, how to invest, how to just just keep money. Period. You don't get that. You know, it's like, I mean, me growing up, I didn't really get that. You
We
know,
weren't taught to invest. We were taught to go get a job.
right? Go get a job, and then what you gonna do with your money?
Yeah.
You gonna spend it. You know. So basically, yeah, you don't really get that stuff. You know. You know how I learned it. Where I learned it
Where?
from a white person.
Unfortunately, that's how it
You
normally
know-
goes.
And that's the only way I really knew about it. Which is sad, but that's what it is.
Well, I feel like that a lot of us learn through trial and error. I think our life is spent where we get money, we will trick it off and spend it, and then at some point we start getting wise. Like, okay, I can't keep doing this because
Right.
this is not. Because we start reflecting over our life and think about the amount of money we've gone through, and it's like, man, if I had just did this and this and this and saved and did the things that I need to do at this point in my life, I'd be straight. But I kind of feel like that's the area where you really kind of learn it and appreciate it the most is going through it. You can have people teach you about it, but until you actually know what it's like to see the repercussions of
Yeah.
your actions, you really won't value it. You know, you'll just be going through the motion, but you won't understand why you're doing it.
Yeah. You got to hit rock bottom first.
Oh, yeah.
man. Oh yeah.
Because you know you don't want to be there no more.
So
Then it's like, how do we not get there?
but then okay, you say you gotta hit rock bottom first, but then yeah, okay, yeah, you do that. But then if you keep hitting rock bottom,
That's also a problem. Now it's like, what are you doing wrong?
right? Because it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, that first time, okay, yeah, I get it. You know, now I understand. But then you keep doing it, then it's not rock bottom's fault. It's your fault.
Well, I think that goes back to what we kind of talked about last week with accountability. You can't just keep making the same mistakes and not have some kind of accountability in place so you don't repeat those mistakes. Because a mistake is only a mistake when you make it and you learn from it. If you keep repeating the same mistake, then that's insanity. Doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. That's the definition
But
of
then,
insanity.
but then, when you're doing the same things over and over and over, is it to a point that we just don't get to we don't concept that, we don't grab it. I mean, like, you don't understand the whole structure of don't do that. Don't put all your money over here. Put some over here and a little bit over there.
Well, what we're failing to realize too is that life happens. Like, you can go in and you can have a plan, but when life start hitting you, and you gotta divert those plans, sometimes it's hard to get back on track. When it comes to that, because I've had solid plans in place. Life happened and you taking all lefts, taking all lefts, and you can't hit that straight away. You can't hit that straight away, and you have every intention on doing the right thing, man. But life, you gotta.
Because I was doing good, and then I got divorced, and then it seems like ever since then, it's just like something just keep hitting. And then I got custody of my kids and trying to get back on my feet, then getting custody of kids at the same time. It's just like wall after wall after wall after wall. You know, it's like, when does it end? But you gotta accept the good with the bad. You just can't give up.
No, that's the last thing you want to do. But to people that's listening, when you're constantly hitting those walls and you're being diverted, you got to understand God is trying to show you something. He's trying to take you down a path that you are bucking against. That you're bucking against, and you just got to follow the lead and go, because typically, like, you hit those walls when you have that mental block where I just want to go this way.
Yeah.
And you're not open to going any other way. So that's why you keep hitting that wall, is because, like, try to go right instead of going left. You know what I'm saying? And so we just got to take those lessons and learn from them.
But we also started with an unfair advantage.
Oh, we did, and that's a great segue into the next topic. The black man. Let's talk about him. People do not understand. We can sit here and we can talk till we're blue in the face, but people will never understand what it's like to be a black man, a black male in the world that we live in, especially the U.S.
When you can get pulled over for just driving a nice vehicle.
It's just, I have, yeah, I can come from the perspective of being a black man, but even being an onlooker to black men and you guys and different other black men that I come in, the load that we have to carry on a daily basis is just, it's tough, bro. It like you said, we were born with the added disadvantage. Being black, one, and being a black male, two, because the weight of the shoulder and of black culture is on our shoulders.
Yeah.
We are the ones that's supposed to carry the load for everything. And I think that's why it's so important to have outlets. And, you know, I know you guys have heard it, I've heard it. Picking your mate is the most important thing that you will ever do.
Oh yeah.
Because
Those
that
are
load that you carry on them two shoulders
Right.
becomes triple if you do not pick the right mate.
I've always said that, you know, a good woman will always, it's like, they say you need your Michelle to your Obama, or you need your, Beyonce to your Jay-Z. It's like, yes, a good woman by your side is going to help you go in the right direction. They're going to, keep you focused. You're going to keep them focused, especially if y'all working together.
Motivate you motivate you when you feel like you can't be motivated.
Yeah.
It's just, and everybody wants that. And we strive to get that, but it's so hard to find because, we live in a society, and I know I'm probably going to poke the bear and say we live in a society where women want to be men now. They
started in 1920 when they wanted the rights to vote.
They want to be, they are calling themselves bosses. They want to be viewed and the same way that men are, and that's admirable, but you have to let a man be a man. Yeah. You do something to men when you cut them off at the knees and you don't allow them to be the head.
Because they always say we want a man to lead, but then when you try to lead, you're not doing it right.
Well, I say this all the time too, is like, we live in a world and a time that people ask for things that they're not ready to receive. And I think that's why it's so important to do a self-evaluation of your life, both male and female. And instead of going out looking for something, you should start soul searching and say, am I ready for what I want? Am I ready to receive what I want? And then the other question you have to say, and this is why people say, stay in your lane, is you have to understand that, because we can go on social media right now, we can pull up, I don't care what, platform is going to be on somebody on there saying what they want in a man. And whenever I see that, I just shake my head. I'm like, what do you mean what you want in a man? I want this, this, and this. I need a man to do this. And the first thing that comes in my head is like, are you what you're asking for?
What do you have to offer?
Are you what you're asking for? And if you're not, why are you having criteria of what you need in a person? Like, first of all, that's taking a shortcut. I don't want somebody to come to the table with all this stuff. I want to be able to build with them to get to that point. That's where the strength in a relationship comes from, is building together.
That's right.
Is building together. And we live in society, man, where we glorify all of these material possessions and this and that. We see the climb. We see the top of the mountain. We see people when they're at the top of the mountain. What about that climb?
Yeah.
What about that climb when we're going up that mountain and all the times we've slipped back 20 steps and then we continue to climb? Let's talk about that. I need somebody to climb with me. We need people to climb with us.
Right.
So so when we get to the top, you understand what it took to get there. Instead of meeting me at the top when I'm already there, now you're trying to tell me what you expect from me. Well, I need that same thing from you.
Yeah.
I need that same thing from you. And that segues into the. And mind you, everybody that's tuning in, this is just surface level. We ain't dove into it like we're gonna dive into it when it comes to this 6-part series that we're gonna do when it comes to Black culture. And I think going into this next segment, I think this is so important because it applies not only to the Black community, but anybody involved in the Black community, and that's learning Black history. And I think that's so important, not with just Black history, but anybody that you deal with, you should understand their culture.
Yeah, that's true.
Because
That's true.
if you take the time to understand other people's culture, you understand why they move a certain way, why they say a certain thing, why they have the rituals they have, why they have the habits they have, and just educate yourself about them as a whole. One, it shows you care.
Yeah.
The other one, it'll explain a lot of stuff that don't need to be explained because you've learned about the people's culture. Our Black history. Bro, I can honestly say, and every time I think about it, it's kind of embarrassing to me, but I've learned more about my Black history over the last 7 to 10 years than I've known my whole life.
Internet, man.
Not only that, that's why I say, man, sometimes when you go through it, those are the blessings. And I can honestly say, man, going through the Trump, when he was in office, and then going through COVID, bro, that enlightened me on a lot of stuff I had no idea about as it pertains to Black culture,
Speaking
Black
about
history.
Trump, that's another thing I was going to talk about was they're steadily taking away Black history in schools now. The CRT programs, things of that nature. Arkansas governor, they're literally taking away Black history, Black education in schools. Talking about it's all a lie. So slavery never happened.
Oh yeah, I heard.
Oh yeah, I heard that.
Yeah.
Well, in Arizona,
They were well taken care of.
in Arizona, teachers can lose their job for teaching Black history.
Yeah,
And
it's
so
a
that,
red state.
that poses a question for me because we are all parents in this room. What do we do with our Black kids? How do we go about teaching our Black kids our history, our Black history?
There's a point. There's this one lady. She had mentioned that. She said that in order for her kids to get what they need to know about Black history, she had to get them into a separate entity so that they can learn it. Okay, so
Not just regular school, public school
Right.
system.
It was a certain
Like an after
Like a-
school
like after school
program,
program,
or yeah.
and then send them there so that they can learn all they need to know about
That's
history.
actually a great idea.
But then when I saw that and I was looking at that and I was like, well, if everybody did that, right? But see, the thing is though, now you start getting into a segregation type of thing. It's just like now it's all these Black people in one place learning an educational piece, Then they like, oh well, why all these Black folks in one place learning, some history and everything? It should be, because you're not allowing them to learn it in school,
Yeah.
so they have to go over here and learn it.
We didn't even know a Black man invented the folding chair until a white person got hit with it on the riverboat.
Yeah, I mean,
That is a perfect example of what I said, like learning my Black history over the last 5 to 7 to 10 years is that it was things happening in the world that shed light like that,
right.
that, let me know. Like, Thomas Edison didn't invent the light bulb.
Right? A Black man did.
The Black man did. Like, But that's not the history that we learn as it pertains to Western education. That's not what we learn, and so it complicates our job even more because now we have to bring our kids home or put them in a separate entity or a separate program to kind of like wash their brain of what they're spending all these hours learning in the education system that is not teaching them about who they are.
Yep.
And it's just another example of how our society is so scared of us and the power that we have. They fear the fact that if we learn about who we are, bro, that is gonna be a problem. That is gonna be a problem. And then we're talking about, we're talking about our youth, which is our which is our future.
Right.
They definitely don't want our future to learn because now with the new technology and all of that, now you teaching black kids about who they are. That's dangerous. That's dangerous for them.
It is.
You will no longer be able to put a black man in prison and take him out of the black household and make them vulnerable if our kids are learning who they are and as it pertains to their black history. And it's definitely, and it also puts the onus on mixed kids. You got a white parent and a black parent.
They're gonna get it from both ends.
So as a white parent, your job is extra hard now because now you got to tell your black kid that somebody that looks like me is telling you the wrong stuff about your black history. And so I applaud the white parent that has mixed kids because they're going through it.
Oh yeah.
They're going through it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then the confusion of how do I react to it? How do I react? Especially when I have white family members. Like it is a daunting task having mixed kids in today's society. And like I said, I applaud all of the parents that have mixed kids. You got a task ahead of you. You got a task ahead. It ain't no more I'm teaching my kids about both of our cultures because that ain't that ain't gonna necessarily work because 9 times out of 10 your mixed kid is only gonna relate to the black part of his
Don't give it too much.
We all sometimes I get
People for
going,
the docu-series.
but let's move on into this next segment. This is what we love. The music.
Okay.
Bro, like I just
We invented music.
period.
Point blank. Period.
Period. Every genre of music is taken from black culture.
Yes, every single one.
I don't care what
Country,
rock, country, heavy metal, reggae. I mean, all of that is black music. It derives from black music, and that is the one thing, bro. Like, it takes a lot for us to get together. Music and fashion is like,
Man.
when it comes to music and fashion, we will put aside all of our issues that we have with each other.
Notice that. Now we talking about music, right? Music and fashion. Now look at this. You've seen Arizona. Was Arizona known as a music state?
No, it wasn't.
No.
Right.
You have some artists that refuse to even come out here.
Exactly. And it's like now you start seeing more and more and more concerts, more and more fashion, more and more things like that going on in Arizona.
Yeah.
That's because we finally moving here.
Yeah.
In droves, too. Stop coming. People.
Well, and it's funny you say that because that is it. Like, we have at one point last year, I don't know what the statistics are, but at one point last year, beginning of this year, we were having Californians moving out at a rate of 10 to 12,000 people a month.
Wow.
And so with that comes the need for wanting that black culture music, the fashion, because you can't necessarily bring it all with you, but you want to have access to it. So when you get people moving from Atlanta, you get people moving from LA and Chicago, they ain't gonna go back home for black culture, so they're gonna try to create it here. That's what I love about Arizona is that, yeah, you might not necessarily have black culture here, but the ability to create black culture here
Yes.
because it lacks it is astounding. And then we ain't gonna even talk about
All white folks
entrepreneurship.
gonna do is take it. As soon as we think up something else, they're gonna find a way to exploit that one.
Bro, the best compliment is to have somebody copy you. People don't realize that. If I notice somebody that they used to do a certain thing, and now that they've been hanging out with me, they starting to copy my style or whatever it
Don't
is.
even be mad at
That
them.
is bro. That's the biggest compliment you can have.
It actually is.
That's the biggest compliment. I don't understand why people get so offended when your friends and people you come in contact with, you're starting to dress like me. Bro, that is a compliment. That is the ultimate compliment.
Even me, it's like, you know.
Boy, they ain't gonna ever dress like nobody else.
You know, well, that's true. But, you know, it's like just
We
the
trying to get
mindset.
him on the right path.
It's just the mindset of it. You like, oh man, yeah, let's go, let's do this, you know.
I do be dressing y'all too, though.
Hey,
I do be dressing
You know
y'all
what?
too, though.
Yeah.
Floyd came in here the other day with a whole failure outfit
Yeah.
on, bro. The man had the sweats on with the t-shirt on.
See,
my sock game then came
that
up.
motivated
Yeah.
me to be
You're
going
welcome.
to the gym. You know, I was in the gym, like, yeah, let me get in that gym. You know,
See?
I was like, yeah.
See that, bro? I'm a proud papa over here. I got my kids dressing like me. I'm a proud
man.
papa, bro. You can't tell me that ain't a compliment.
Come on, man.
But yeah, man.
You know, if the wealth was distributed, I was reading something. It was actually very interesting. It said, according to whatever Brookings Institute, if Black Americans would have had everything, I guess, fair, we would hold 12 billion or 12 trillion in household wealth. But as of now, we only hold 2.5 trillion. That's what we hold now, as far as black people, is black wealth.
It's something as simple as this. If we started spending money in our own communities, why do you think Jewish people own everything?
Oh,
Right.
Because
Exactly.
they don't spend money with nobody but their own people.
yeah.
Who do they hire? Other
Themselves.
Jews.
Yep.
Keep it in the family.
Keep it in the family.
But that's a part of that conditioning, unfortunately. That
And the whole financial literacy
Yeah.
piece, and that goes along with it. Along with learning how to save and spend your money is also learning how to spend your money and who to spend it with.
Right.
So all of that kind of goes hand in hand.
because we can't be having it where we go to another black business like, man, that's too expensive, or let me get the hookup, let me get the player discount. No, this is what it costs right here.
First of all, they ain't going to Nike. They ain't going to no store in Scottsdale Fashion Mall, Chandler Mall, going in there asking, say, hey, how much is that shirt? Oh, it's $50. Hey, can I get it for 40?
Right.
No, you ain't doing that.
You think I can get it for $1?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, can I get it for $1?
Like, hold on, let me see if I got some change.
Yeah, you know.
Bro, and what's crazy is me having a brand, I really see it because I pay attention to other brands. I pay attention to quality of items. Louis Vuitton and what's the brand that they did a collaboration with?
Gucci, Fendi, Prada,
Was it Bape and Ape?
Balenciaga.
Was it Bape? I think it was Bape. They did a collaboration. And bro, I saw Bape has a t-shirt. And I know my qualities because I got a brand. They have a t-shirt that's 100% cotton. But because it got Bape on it and they did a collaboration with Louis Vuitton, that 100% cotton t-shirt costs $300.
It's the name. All in the name.
But then I get people, when I'm selling a $30 or $35 t-shirt, it's like, hey, if I get two, can I get one for free? That's the one thing that I never do, man. I never go into a black establishment or a minority establishment looking for a discount. Those are the ones that can't really afford to give you a discount.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Because everything that they sell is you asking for a discount cuts into their profits.
Building costs, the labor costs, all these other things come in hand in the business. And when it comes to that, we already know chances are we're in a community that they don't want us, so they're going to overcharge us just for the rent of the place. It's always something.
And when you talk about black-owned businesses too, most of the time they don't have the financial backing that a lot of these other companies have. They don't have investors with deep pockets that they can. All of this stuff is a lot of it is coming out of savings and things that they've put aside for this. That kind of segues into this part of the last section of this black culture is getting involved in programs in the community to help with youth, to help with adults that are struggling with drug addictions, that are struggling with finding jobs, that are homelessness and all of that. Is that I think that's so important too, because that teaches you the value of life. And we've all, I know me, I say this all the time, I grew up on mayonnaise sandwiches and sugar water and sugar sandwiches and all of that. So I wasn't always somebody that could just go to a restaurant and grab something to eat. Like some of my best meals in my early years was sardines, and don't give me the mustard sardines. Woo! Top ramen with the hot dog cut up in it.
Hey, that's still
the bologna where you have to cut the edges and then do a slice in the middle so it don't bubble up and so it don't bubble up and not cook in the middle like and church cheese. Look, church cheese, government cheese. It's had a bunch of names. Where it come in that cardboard box, and then it got the wax. It's got the wax that you peel off of it. And I know a lot of us have been guilty of cooking a small piece of that wax in our cheese when you're grilling it.
Yes.
But you never forget that stuff, bro. But I think we sometimes do. And I won't say that it's always on purpose. It's that we just want to escape. Yeah, we want to escape our past, but we got to understand our past is what pushed us to our present.
That's right.
And our past is what our why is. Like, why would you want to get away from what your why is?
Yeah.
Your why is what is the constant reminder of why you do what you do, and who you do it for.
It's like when we want to change, we want to do better. Then you have those idiots that want to bring you down or make you feel bad for wanting to do better.
Well, that's that crab in the bucket syndrome.
Yeah.
And we have that bad in the black community is that we don't want to see anybody progress more than we do. And it sucks because, man, if we stood by each other and
Like
supported
Jews
each
or
other,
white people. Yeah.
Even Asian people, man.
Yeah,
if we stood by each other like those communities do.
Mexicans, they take care of each other.
Bro, we wouldn't need to ask Black Wall Street all over again, 20 times over. Right. There's no reason in the world why each community in there shouldn't be a Black Wall Street in each state, where there's a community of homes, hospitals, grocery stores, gas stations, department stores that's owned by Black people. There's no reason why there shouldn't be one in each state with the Black wealth that we have with individuals that have money like that. There shouldn't be. I just saw what's the deal with what's his name that was buying BET? I guess that fell through.
Yeah, that fell through.
Yeah, because Paramount was talking about that. Paramount was saying they wanted $3 billion, and so Tyler was
they raised the price on it?
Well, yeah, he was like $3 billion. Tyler was like $2 billion. Because it was like he's supposed to be giving them $2 billion. That's what they wanted.
They raised the price on it.
So they talking about now they wanted $3 billion, and so but Tyler was like, no, he's not going up to 3. He said he'd give him 2, and so it was.
See, and that's just another example of they are scared of us empowering ourselves.
Yes.
Because if this man get BET, do you realize the doors that will be open for us, as it pertains
Absolutely.
to like. And I hope he doesn't stop. In all honesty, he can create his own BET.
I was going to say that. We just need to create another one. He
needs to create
everything
with $2 billion. You can create your own network of BET. Like, and we just, and that's the other thing too is as we get, more involved in our community, that's the kind of stuff we need to be telling our kids of what's possible. We take baby steps in telling our kids, hey, go to get out of the hood, get you a good job, and no, tell them what the possibilities are. The Bible says you have not because you ask not, and it says be specific in what you ask God for. If you don't just say I want a truck or I want to go to school, say I want to go to Ivy League school or I want to go to HBCU. Mm-hmm. Be specific in what you ask God for, and us as parents, we've got to start taking up the mantle and start being parents again. That's the problem.
That's right.
We got to start being parents again. Start getting actively involved in your kids' life instead of giving them a key, letting them in, and telling them there's food in the refrigerator. Mm-hmm. We got to start getting involved. That's why I love COVID. COVID made it to where you had to sit down with your kid. It's a lot of dummy parents out there. Let me tell you that. Because with this new way that these kids are being educated, I'm so glad that all my kids is grown. Because if I had to educate young kids, you're crossing out the 0, carry the 1, bring the 1 down, and you need to get fingers involved. It's tough, man. But it's when you sign up to be a parent, you don't ever stop being a parent. Ever. People think that when my kid get out of my house, no, you don't. You are forever tied to that kid. That you are a parent.
My dad still reminds me of that.
The only question that you need to be asking is, what kind of parent am I going to be? Oh, yeah. Because that part of being a parent, that ain't even a question. So we gotta, along with getting active in the community, man, we gotta get back to, and I'm gonna say this, and I ain't gonna elaborate on it. I'm not even gonna let y'all elaborate on it. We got to get back to being a village. Yeah. We got to get back to when a kid act up, everybody in the neighborhood. That's why we're having people come in the communities, in our black communities, and doing stuff, and there's no repercussions for it. Ain't nobody wanting to talk about it. Man, back in the day, you go in the black community, something happened. Mm-hmm. One, you ain't getting out of the black community going in there acting up because everybody in the black community know each other and they talk to each other. Now it's not that. Nobody wants to get involved. Nobody wants to. You
don't even know their own neighbors anymore.
They don't. And that's why we don't have villages anymore. We got to get back to that. Kind of tell
good thing that happened from COVID, while you're speaking about COVID, was there has been more, in the African American community, more successful black people starting businesses since COVID. Social media platforms.
Bro, I told you there's a lot of blessings that came out of the Trump administration and COVID. It made us realize that what we don't need. Yeah. We don't need a 9-to-5. You don't really need a boss. You don't need to have people over you. You have everything that you need is right here. Yep. How are you going to apply it? That's the question, is how are you going to apply it? Because if you put in half the hours and the work that you put into your 9-to-5 making money for somebody else, if you put in half of that for yourself and cut out the plan A, B, and C and have a plan A, that is a problem. You have to just have a plan A, because when you have a plan A, B, and C, you will never give A the attention that it needs to be successful. Your A plan has to be that if A doesn't work, I don't eat.
That's true.
That's how that's how it has to be.
Yeah.
In order for that plan to get all of you, it's sink or swim. Mm-hmm. It's sink or swim. Sure. And that's what I tell kids all the time. Yeah. There is no plan B. There is no plan C. Because if there's a plan B and a plan C, you know what you're going to tell yourself? Hey, if plan A don't work, I can always fall back on plan B or C. Might as well not have a plan A. Might as well not have a plan A. As you guys can tell, this 6-part series coming up over the next few weeks. It's gonna be a little intense.
Don't get real.
It's gonna be a little intense,
Make
but
sure y'all tune in.
I advise you guys to tune in because we're actually gonna have people on the show too that are kind of like experts in these different areas. We're gonna have the people from fashion. We're gonna have people from the music industry. We're gonna have professionals as it pertains to mental health. We're gonna have teachers on here talking about what's the best way to go about educating our kids about their Black history. And so I really advise everybody to tune in. We will be putting stuff over the airways on social media platforms, letting you know how it's going to go. But there's going to be some planning to this because it's very important to all of us in this room is that we roll this thing out because we really feel like it's needed. As always, you guys, we always appreciate you guys tuning in, but we are going to close this out. Let's talk about relationships. We got 18 minutes. Let's talk about relationships. Let's talk about relationships. We kind of hit on it too at the beginning when we talked about, the Black man, and we talked about, little things here and there, but why are relationships so bad?
So hard. Everybody's selfish. That's what no one wants to take care of anybody no more. It's all for self. Thanks to the internet. It's all about you. Nobody want to, help each other out no more. Love each other. It's just, so what are you going to do for me? What's in it for me?
But where does that come from, though?
That ain't something that just happened overnight.
No.
Like, that's something that is instilled in somebody.
Because that love that our parents had, our grandparents had, those relationships, those marriages, are just not there anymore. It's not.
Well, yeah, because we're looking at a generation that is more, that you say, is more for themselves.
Because Mildred used to call Shirley. Be like, hey, look, Shirley.
Yeah.
Better send Harold home.
Right.
Yeah, that goes back to that. That goes back to
real.
that village thing again, man. Yeah. We looked out for each other, and that wasn't just in when it comes to watching out for our kids. That was in our relationships. You had friends that would pull you aside, like, girl, what are you doing? You realize you got a good man over there,
right,
and you messing it up.
Yeah,
and we out here in these streets single, and you got what we want, and you messing it up.
And the thing is that if you don't want them, I get them.
Yeah. Bro, let me tell you what this is. People have been coddled. They've had their back rubbed. People are scared of being real. We want to surround ourselves with yes people that are going to always tell us what we want to hear. When we need them friends that's going to tell us the things that we don't want to hear. Like, girl, what are you wearing? If you don't go in there and take that off, but because we're scared to hurt people's feelings and we want everybody to like us, girl, you look good, knowing dang on well
shouldn't be wearing that.
They
wouldn't be in their
They wouldn't wear it.
No.
But the other thing is the selfishness, like what you said. Oh, I'll say she looks good because if we go out, that'll make me look better.
Yep.
Wow.
Facts.
We gotta start looking out for each other more, man, because that stuff comes full circle. You look out for somebody look out for you. It comes full circle, bro. That stuff comes back around.
Everybody's elevating.
And people aren't valuing relationships like they should.
No.
Like they're not. They're getting in and out of these relationships. And what's crazy is the biggest cause of that is life. People are looking at their age, especially with women. Women are looking at their age, the 40s and 50s, and not in relationships. So now they feel like they gotta rush.
Hurry up.
Let me hurry up. I gotta be in a relationship. But what you haven't done is you haven't taken a self-evaluation of your life and say, am I ready to be in a relationship?
But see, that's going back to what you're saying, the plan B, plan A, plan B, plan C. With some fellas, they like this. Well, fellas and women. They're like, well, if this person don't work, I'll just go to this person. If this person don't work, I'll just go to this person.
Grass ain't always green on the other side. That's what the saying was.
It's the biggest problem. What I said earlier. Having a type will be your detriment and your downfall. Having a type. Because what you have a tendency to do is when you have a type, you have tunnel vision. You're looking for a specific thing. But in the meantime, while you're looking through this little peephole, you're missing every guy that could be setting you up for the rest of your life, treating you like you want to be treated. But I want to be with the guy that looks like a thug. I want to be with the guy that's got the six-pack abs. I want to be with the guy that's driving the expensive car. I want to be... What's wrong with being with the guy that has aspirations of having and being those things? Like I said, build with him.
Right.
They always get friend
See,
zoned.
that's the thing. Build with him. Build with him means what? You building and he's building.
Yeah. Yeah.
So both of you are building up together.
There's no better relationship and no better way to have strength in a relationship, and that's where you develop your best friend from. You don't develop a best friend because y'all both like the same things. No, you create a best friend because that best friend has seen you at some of your lowest moments, and they was there for you and didn't turn their back on you. They helped you through when nobody else helped you through.
That's right.
There's no more. I wouldn't say there's no more, but that's what's missing in relationships is best friends. Sex can't be it. The fact that you guys travel and you do this and you guys have fun, that's not the basis and the foundations of having a great relationship. Having a great relationship is that's my best friend. I can tell them what I can't tell anybody else.
Best friend.
That person is going to tell me when I'm wrong and tell me when I'm right. That person is going to encourage me, going to push me past what I think that I can do.
That's right.
That's what best friends are. Best friends don't necessarily tell you everything you want to hear. They tell you everything you need to hear.
That's right. That's what it's about.
Until we get back to that, we're not going to have relationships like they had back in our parents' days. Those days are gone.
But see, that's the thing, though. It's like you said, you tell them what they need to hear. But then when you have people they have that emotional state and everything, you tell them what they need to hear, then they jumping all over you. They like, they telling you off because you telling them the truth. You telling them what they need to hear.
I would rather have somebody mad at me for being honest and upfront and truthful to you than to have you later find out that I'm lying to you. I will deal with the consequences of being truthful and real with you. I will deal with those consequences. Because those consequences coming with you doing self-reflection, whether it's now or later, and being like, can't be mad at them. And that's all you expect from people in general. Yeah. Just be real with me. If you don't like me, just say, hey, bro, I don't see eye to eye with you. I don't agree with you. Cool. Now we can have dialogue and see where we can either meet in the middle of the road, or you can show me a view that I didn't know exists, and now I can understand why you don't agree with me. But if we're just bickering back and forth and we walking by each other, side-eyeing each other and not wanting to talk to each other and letting issues from years past sit and fester and not have conversations and talk to people, you're ruining lives. You're ruining lives. And not to mention, there's people that are watching you that are called your kids. That's not an example that you need to set for your kids.
Because they are watching.
They are watching. When you least expect it, they're watching.
Yeah, they listening too.
They don't learn about what you tell them.
When you talking about people and stuff, they doing the same thing.
That's why these kids are picking up a lot of these habits. It's because there's no more days when you're having an adult conversation with another adult where you boy, go to your room. Grown folks is talking. Remember them days?
Yeah, but see,
what is you doing sitting at the table when it ain't nothing but grown folks at the table?
The thing is that we don't get that anymore. It's like we sitting here talking and everything. The kids is right there at the table too and everything. You don't say nothing to them. You like. Make sure
and they hearing everything that they shouldn't be hearing.
Make sure you finish your food right there. Make sure you finish that puzzle right there. It's like, dude, instead of sending them away, you letting them sit in there.
Ain't no way in the world. Back in the day, ain't no way. I'm sitting in a room with no grown-ups. And you knew it though. Like you looked around, you was like, oh, ain't no kids here. let me go where the kids at. And even when you walked in the house as a kid and you seen grown folks in the area, you knew where the kid. You get out back, and that's another thing. Ain't nobody playing outside no more.
Nope.
Oh no.
Well, see,
Video games, computer, internet.
Look, all right, y'all, hey, y'all better get your ass outside and be in this house before them street lights come on.
But see, that's the thing, though. I had told my daughter that, right? I said, make sure you get home before the street lights come on. You know, she's like, how do I know the street lights come on? What do you mean?
Bro,
I was like,
do you know the fear we had?
Oh man!
You know the fear you had when them street lights came on and you wasn't at home?
Man, you
Bro.
running, bro.
Look, I don't care what was going on. Bro, you looked up and saw, oh, hey, I gotta go.
Gotta go.
Them street lights came on, bro.
Hopping on your BMX trying to.
Them street lights came on, you saw your life flash in front of your eyes. Because that was the last word that mom and dad said when you left the house. Do not come in this house after them street lights come on. Beat the lights on.
If you run in that house and your mama's sitting right there in front of the door in the chair, right there sitting in front of the door,
you late.
Man, back in the day, our bikes were our means of transportation. I mean, we'd be cities over. We'd be gone.
Bro, we had a bike crew. We had a bike crew.
Yeah, we did too.
Man, those are the good old days.
Oh yeah.
But those are good old days. But we can get back to that.
Yeah, we can.
There's no way in the world that we couldn't get back to that. And we better start communicating because the way it's looking now with all this AI coming in. That's a subject for another day. But we appreciate you guys tuning in today. Like I said, we're growing. We're figuring things out. And we appreciate you guys standing with us, tuning in and all of that. Like I said, we always want the feedback, both negative and positive, because that's how we grow. That's how we grow. And we appreciate you guys tuning in. Like I said, like I always say, if there's subject matter that we've talked about or that you want us to talk about, just message us. Larvell or Floyd or myself, just message us. If you want to come on the show, also message us. If you're interested in starting your own podcast, we have information on our social media platforms that you can look up. If not, hit us up. We can send it to you to where you can get in here and get in front of the camera. I'm telling you, regardless of what you're going through in your life, when you put these mics on, you get in front of these cameras, it is therapy.
Yeah, it is.
It is therapy. It is therapy. But we appreciate you guys tuning in. And as always, love, peace, and soul. Train.